This is episode number 33 of Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse. Today we will be talking about the Coral Reef restaurant located in the Seas Pavilion in Epcot.
Everything Disney in and out of the house. Two grown-ups and a mouse.
Hi there, I'm AJ.
I'm Andrew.
And you are listening to, or watching, or listening to and watching, Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse.
The podcast.
The vlog.
The video cast.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
We are on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube or directly on our website, twogrownupsandamouse.com.
Mm-hmm.
Social media, Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse.
Yep.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse. Or, of course, we are a podcast, and you can find us on your favorite podcast system.
Yep. iTunes, Spotify, Google.
We're there.
Pretty much all of them.
We are there. So, we can go right into it.
Sure.
And we will talk about Coral Reef restaurant located in Epcot.
In the seas.
In the Seas. It opened in 1986.
That was a long time ago.
And it has a really, really, really big aquarium, fish tank.
Yep. Yep.
5.7 million gallons. That's what I read online.
That's about my average shower.
Maybe. It has tarpons. I don't know what a tarpon is.
That's a fish.
I kind of figured that, but I don't know what it is. Sharks, sea turtles, stingrays, groupers, and sometimes scuba divers.
Yeah, there's actually scuba divers relatively often. It's not that rare to see them.
We didn't see them while they were there.
We did. There was some in the tank. They weren't swimming around by the restaurant, but...
Did you walk over to it? Were you...
Well, no, when we went, when we got off of Nemo and looking through one of the windows, there was one. Because they do offer a tour of the aquarium. Of course, you have to be scuba certified, and it's not that, well, it's expensive, but not that expensive. For Disney, it's about average for a Disney tour, and they supply all the equipment, so you don't have to try to figure out how to lug your scuba gear with you on vacation. But you can go swimming in the tank.
Right. Well, that was the next thing I was going to say. You can view the aquarium from the restaurant, but if you go on Finding Nemo,
right,
on that ride, what's really neat about that ride is it has the cartoons of the Nemo characters on the plexiglass. Or right, isn't it plexiglass?
Yeah,
it's like 8 inches.
I don't remember,
thick,
but yeah,
or something. It's really, really thick plexiglass.
Right.
So you can, when you're watching the Finding Nemo ride, you're actually looking into the live tank.
Yep.
You're seeing cartoon images, but there's actually live sea creatures or whatever behind there. And I just realized that we had another view of that tank when we went on the tour.
Yeah, when we did on was it Undiscovered Future World, they took us in and they showed us one of the lounges that is there that you can. It's no longer a corporate lounge at the moment, anyways, and you can rent it for weddings, blah 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 blah. But yeah, there we got really good views because there was basically nobody there except for the few other people on the tour. So.
Right. So we had another view of this humongous aquarium.
Right.
And what they do at the Seas, at the Coral Reef rather, is they have tiered seating so that pretty much all of the tables can see the aquarium. Maybe some tables can see it a little better than others, but they do make an attempt.
Yeah, it's almost like stadium seating.
Yeah, they do have it tiered. It was, about 3 tiers. The bottom row has a couple tables next to it, and then they have different levels so that you can kind of see over people's heads a little bit better.
Yep.
And there were 6 of us. We had a really big booth. There were 2 children and 4 adults, though the one child is 10. Right. And when you are 10 at Walt Disney World, you are considered an adult.
That's true.
For ticket prices, for dining. One of the reasons that we had the reservations was our friends wanted to see Disney on Broadway in the American Pavilion, which was part of the Festival of the Arts. We were not able to watch that show, which wasn't, a big deal
Right.
for us because we watched their son.
Sure.
Because if you want to do the reserved seating, you have to pay. It's a fixed price menu, but you can order pretty much whatever you want off of the menu.
Right. They just want to make sure that you spend X amount of dollars.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to.
Right. So they charge you $67
Mm-hmm.
and you get a beverage, non-alcoholic, an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert.
Right.
And because of that, our friend's 10-year-old got a full Maine lobster.
Yep.
Because it was a $40 Maine lobster, but they had to spend $67 anyway. So
Right.
What's the difference? She wanted it. That's what she got.
That's right.
I don't know how much she liked it afterwards because a full Maine lobster is a lot of work.
Yeah, it's too much work for your food.
I like lobster tail, but I don't know that I would ever order a lobster because I'd rather just have a lobster tail or two.
Well,
Call me wasteful. But the rest of the lobster can be used to make things like lobster bisque.
mm-hmm.
So I was not in the mood to have a really big meal. So I ordered from the kids menu.
Right.
And I got a salmon, which was a 2-ounce salmon. And my sides, because you have your choice of sides, so I selected mashed potatoes and a fruit cup.
Right.
And what did you get?
I got pork chops with the setup from the steak. So basically mashed potatoes and some grilled vegetables.
Yeah, weren't the carrots a weird color or something? Because I was like, what's that? You're like, they're carrots. I'm like,
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Well, it was carrots and a couple other things, but yeah, it's but I don't know.
Yeah. Our friends ordered steak with potatoes, which we thought was kind of funny because we had just gone to a steak restaurant the night before.
Yep.
They also ordered a salmon with risotto.
Mm-hmm.
And as we already said, the full Maine lobster. And then their child got the children's pasta with butter and cheese.
Right.
And as we said, they had to order appetizers and desserts. So they got a Rhode Island calamari, which was a calamari dish served kind of spicy style. It wasn't just, a lot of times you go to a restaurant and you just get calamari. This had stuff, like my description, had stuff underneath it.
Right.
And they also got a seasonal house salad, which my friend let me taste, and that was pretty enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I think it had goat cheese in it and craisins or something. It was like a sweet tasting salad. And I got a lobster bisque soup. I didn't have to get an appetizer, but that was one of the reasons I got a kid's meal is I wanted to get the lobster bisque, which is very high in calories. So I got a kid's size, which was more than enough, honestly. Sure. And then for dessert, they ordered, and they shared it with us because, we didn't really need all the desserts. They just ordered it because they had to for the package.
Right.
They got the warm vanilla custard-filled strudel, an angel food cake, which is served with berries, and that one I believe is a no sugar added dessert, and a chocolate wave flourless cake.
Right.
Now, the pricing at Coral Reef is not cheap.
No. It's not a signature restaurant, but the prices are
close to that of signature restaurants.
Right. So it's I don't know if Disney actually classifies it because they have normal sit down, and then they have the next tier up, which would be almost like a premium tier, but obviously not the signature tier. So,
well, Le Cellier and also in Epcot.
But see, Le Cellier is now a signature restaurant for dinner. Oh,
only for dinner?
Right. Basically, the good way to look at it is...
And you're sure that Coral Reef is not?
It is not. I'm pretty sure it's
you
not.
didn't look it up, though, so
right.
There's our disclaimer. We could be mistaken. We'll have to look that one up. Because it might be the same way. Because we were there for a late lunch, but we were still eating lunch, not dinner.
Right. Well, yeah, it might be. I look at a couple different indicators. Like when you have the Disney dining plan, signature restaurants need 2 credits. So Le Cellier at dinner time is a 2-credit restaurant, and then the upstairs French restaurant has 2 credits.
If this isn't signature dining, I would be surprised based on the prices, because that's where I was leaning to was the prices. The entrees are $24 to $40 each.
Right, but usually in a signature they start at like 35 and go up to 50, 60.
Well,
Right, so
maybe.
it's that next level up. So,
But still,
but
I mean, to me,
either way.
that's not inexpensive to have an entree that's $24. Now, granted,
No.
they all come with sides. These
Right.
aren't a la carte. You know, you get your entree and, you know, one or two sides depending on which entree you
sure.
order.
No, they come with a good amount of food. So, and I mean, it's well prepared. It's not, you know, it's what you would expect for the amount of money you're spending. I'm just not a seafood guy, so I'm stuck eating the takeaway.
I do enjoy, I enjoy shellfish, but I enjoy salmon.
Right.
And what I really like about Disney is they don't typically give you a hassle when you want to order off of the kids' menu because, like I said, I didn't want all the food that I was going to get. It wasn't just the price, it was the food.
Sure.
You know, if the food's in front of me, I'm going to eat it if it tastes good, and I don't need that. So I would rather order a kid's meal, and when I eat the whole thing, it's okay because it's not, you know, it's the amount of food that you really should be eating. Not
Usually, yeah.
it's not this oversized, you know, meal that they've prepared there.
Right.
But the entrees are 24 to 40, the appetizers are 9 to 15, and the desserts are 8 to 10.
Right.
So basically, you know, I mean, yeah, you could go in there and you can get an appetizer as a meal. You can get a kid's meal as I did. So you can dine there relatively inexpensively, but even if there were two adults getting 2 kids meals and 2 beverages, you're still going to be spending $40 pre-gratuity.
Oh yeah, no,
You know,
that's
just
sure.
for kids meals, because the kids meals, I forgot to print out the prices, but even they're, you know, $10 to $15 give or take.
Sure.
So,
But you know, to be clear on that though, you know, you're spending $10 or $15 for a kid's meal, but you got a nice piece of salmon, and it didn't look like honestly, it looked like the same as the salmon that you would have gotten if you ordered off the adult menu.
well, our friend got the salmon on top of the risotto, and it was basically the same. Mine was just a smaller portion.
Correct.
So yeah, it was a definitely well prepared meal. I was happy with it. I was glad that that's what I got. And honestly, I think our friends she at least would have gotten a kid's meal had they not been going to the Disney on Broadway show.
Yeah.
But if you are looking to find a new dining experience while at Epcot, you probably will need reservations. I don't know how many.
It's pretty busy.
Yeah, I don't know how easy it would be for you to just walk up and get a reservation.
Well, even when we went, because we went at after 2.
Our reservation was for 2:20. We got there at about 2:40, which was another thing. They sat us. They understand when you're, you know, especially inside of the parks, the reservations inside of the parks. They know people get stuck on a ride or they misappropriate their time by accident or whatever the case may be. So they will accommodate you even if you are running late, you know, because they say that they'll charge you if you don't show up. But
well, of course, but I mean, but that's the thing is that we showed up at, you know, basically 2:45. We still had to wait. We didn't wait long. I mean, it was only 5 or 10 minutes, but we still had to wait, and there were people waiting there for tables. So, I mean, yeah, if you went at that odd of an hour, you probably could do a wait list, but it was still busy. You know, you'd figure at 3:00 in the afternoon, it's well after lunch and too early for dinner, but it was packed.
Yeah, there are a lot of the sit-down restaurants that you'll walk up to and say, "Hey, can I come in?" And they're like, "No, sorry, we don't have any room." That happens a lot, which don't let that discourage you anyway, because there are plenty of really good places to eat that are quick service.
Yeah, quick service is a lot different than it was in the past.
Yeah, so it's not like, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to find something to eat. Well, maybe you won't be able to find the dining that you want, but you can definitely find something to eat. And, you know, there's always something to eat.
Sure.
But do keep in mind that you can, the Disney policy is you can make reservations up to 180 days in advance, regardless of if you have a pass or not. So you can always book something and then change it as you get closer if you need to.
Right. And they want a cancellation with 24 hours notice.
Correct.
So it's not, you know, you can go ahead and make a reservation 3 months out, 6 months out, and then, you know, now you're there at the park and you're like, I don't know if I want to go there tomorrow afternoon. So you can call up and say, cancel it.
Right. So we had a good experience. We definitely enjoyed eating there. As Andrew said, he's not a big seafood eater, so we probably wouldn't go back there unless we were with friends.
Sure.
because honestly, if I really want seafood, we can go to Yachtsman Steakhouse.
Right.
And they sell plenty of seafood there. You can get a steak and be really happy. I can get seafood and be really happy. So,
Well, the problem is, the problem for us is that out of all because the restaurant's good, but it's not, we can go to Citrico's, you can get fish there, but you can still get a good something else. You can go to Narcoossee's if you want really, that's obviously also a seafood restaurant, and then all the signature places, like you said, at Yachtsman, you can get lobster and there's a few fish.
And it's a lot easier for us because we don't have children.
Right.
So it's a lot easier when the two of us go by ourselves to be like, this is what we're in the mood for. This is what we want to do. But either way, we did enjoy it. So we would recommend trying it. If you haven't tried it, it's definitely worth trying, because of the ambiance, because of the food. And of course, when they do have the festivals, they often do this dining package,
Right.
when they have the candlelight processional during the Festival of the Holidays, or, when they have the Eat to the Beat
Right.
during that. Is that one Food and Wine? I think, Eat to the Beat is Food and Wine. But they do have one also during Flower and Garden.
Yep.
So, but speaking of festivals, we're not going to close out just yet. We did want to talk about something that we found at the festival when we were there
That's right.
recently. Andrew, if you want to turn towards the camera for a second, you could show your shirt off.
There you go.
Andrew is wearing a black and white Festival of the Arts shirt. Now I'm going to turn to the camera.
Yeah, pass holder in color. In living color.
In living color. Located in the Odyssey Center, which was the festival showplace. They did not
Right.
open the festival center because
Right.
it is a smaller festival. It's not so much that it's smaller, but it was only the third year.
Right.
So people don't know about it as much. So maybe as it gets bigger, as they do it more often, maybe they will open the festival center.
Well, yeah, because they started doing. We saw this on this last trip in the Odyssey Center. They were having demonstrations of drawing, and then because they usually open the festival center when they want to, because part of it's also they want to do it for selling merchandise, obviously, but there's so much room in there that you also want to do. That's where they hold all their classes. So, food and wine. There's cooking classes, and then at Flower and Garden there's there's
Also cooking classes.
There's also cooking classes, but there's also gardening classes
Right.
and that kind of stuff. So now, there's not really enough classes yet to really fill up the center that they usually go to. So, but here they had one seating area set up.
The Animation Academy, which
Right.
a lot of people will remember, is where Launch Bay is now located in Hollywood
Right.
Studios. A lot of people were very disappointed that they removed Animation Academy, but they do bring it back on occasion when they can at events such as this. So we had gone to the Odyssey Center because, as you said, or as we both said, it's kind of the mini festival center. They did call it the festival showplace.
Right.
So it basically is the festival center for argument's sake. So we were in there. They sell some pass holder merchandise in there. They sell some food in there.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that was why we walked over there, because we had been at Test Track and
Right.
I wanted a snack, and I knew they had something there that I liked. So we walked over there and found that you could do your design your own screen printed t-shirt.
Well, not. Yeah, you can't. You have to be careful with the design your own because it was out of.
Well, you have
designs were, but
right. You have about 12 designs to select from. Some of them
Right.
are pass holders where you have to show your pass. So the shirt I'm wearing is a pass holder shirt. I had to show a
Right.
pass. You actually liked the DVC shirt, but we are not DVC members, so
Right.
we were not able to purchase that one. But that one was really nice. They ran from $29 to $32. But what was really great about them is they went up to 5X, not all the shirts.
Right.
Like the shirt that I'm wearing, I believe only goes up to, I'm wearing a Ringer t-shirt. It only goes up to a 2X. They had V-neck shirts. They only went up to 2X.
Right.
But the black shirts and white shirts, the traditional black and white t-shirts, they did also carry in 4X and 5X. And they did not charge anything additional for it being
Right.
an oversized shirt. So I thought that was awesome, that if you have, larger individuals, or even if you just like wearing larger shirts, maybe you really are 1 or a 2X, but you know what? You love getting 4X shirts when you can, because you want, to sleep in it and be comfortable, whatever
Right.
the case may be. So I thought it was great. What a great way to be able to sell larger sizes, but also they sold a spirit jerseys are really popular now, but they're long sleeved, they're heavy. They're basically sweatshirts.
Yeah.
You know, they're just like a newer version of a sweatshirt.
Yep.
And they did have a Festival of the Arts Spirit jersey with Figment on it. And it was a long sleeve tie-dyed Spirit jersey with a little Figment on it. And it was cute, but it was $64. And I was like, when am I going to wear this? So I didn't buy it. And they ended up selling out of it.
Right.
So then we saw these and I was like, I could get a Festival of the Arts shirt with Figment on it that didn't cost $64. That is a t-shirt that I might actually wear over and over again.
Right.
So I thought that was really fantastic. And it only took about 10 minutes.
Yep.
And when I was looking online, I believe that it was over by Club Cool originally in that
Possibly.
in that building that is kind of emptied out.
Right.
When you're first walking into Epcot on the right-hand side, you know, when you get to Starbucks and Club Cool and that vicinity.
There's a character meet and greet in there, and it's the building that's part of Club Cool and Starbucks and the meet and greet.
Right.
There's a couple empty rooms in back.
Exactly.
Of it,
They're kind of reimagining it still, trying because was that imagination or imagine something? Like you could walk through there before and
Innovations East and West but those were on the other side of that.
Right. But they are reimagining. You know, Epcot is definitely going through a reimagining right now. And I think that what may have happened, if I, you know, am explaining correctly what I read, what I saw, I have a feeling that they put the t-shirts there but weren't getting enough foot traffic maybe.
Probably.
So they moved it into the festival center. So it would be hard for them to calculate how popular or successful it was.
Right.
But I hope that they do bring it back and put it in a prevalent area, because I have a feeling that if they do, if people really know about it, that they might really start selling. Because when you buy the pre-made t-shirts, they're often $34.99, $29.99, $34.99.
Well, it's basically the same price for t-shirts.
Right,
so.
and it literally took 10 minutes. I mean, now granted, we went, it was just before closing. There was nobody else waiting for anything.
Right.
So we gave them their order, they made ours, and we were done in 10 minutes. And that included them being dry enough for them to pack it up and put it, you know, away for us.
Well, because they basically, they screen print it right there in front of you, and then they throw it in their little, ultraviolet drying device.
Right. And like we said, they had, you know, we're just wearing two designs. Andrew's wearing a Mickey Mouse, I'm wearing a Figment. But they had Maleficent and they had Pluto. I mean, they had all different designs.
Like you said, there was probably a dozen or so.
Yeah, it was about a dozen. And you could select your design. You could select your color print if you wanted white print, black print, or some of them. Right. Maybe all of them. I don't want to misspeak, but, you know, or color. And you select it. You select your t-shirt. They had the pricing was based on if it was a premium shirt. Right. Like yours was actually less expensive than mine because yours is just a black t-shirt. Right. Mine was a premium, which is funny because usually ringer tees are less expensive than other tees. But whatever, this is what I wanted. Because the ringer ties in the black to the black. So, but like I said, I'm saddened that we didn't see it when we had done our previous podcast talking about stuff at the Festival of the Arts, because we definitely would have recommended this to people. But we do hope that Disney does bring this back for other festivals, because I thought it was great. You know, a great way to get a Festival of the Arts shirt that I really wanted instead of settling for what they had opted for. But on that note, I think it's about time to wrap it up because I'm getting hungry, as per usual. And so if you have not already done so, please subscribe. Yep. And if you have already done so, thank you. Glad to have you.
Absolutely.
We're glad you're here. And I am going to say good night.
Good morning.
It could be morning. It could be good afternoon.
Good evening.
Or just goodbye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.